Tuck Erie and the Joel Natale Show. We're live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here at 5th and State. Also live on Facebook and YouTube, having the crucial conversations that Erie needs. And, everybody's talking about artificial intelligence, AI. But what if it could be a source not only for good, but really for care? And that's what we're going to talk about here on this program. We've got with us here Bob Barber. He is a senior vice president at Barber National Institute. Great to see you again, Bob. How are you?
Good, Joel. How are you?
And our frequent guest on heavy rotation here, Matthew Wachter. Pull that mic close, brother. And he is from Carnegie Foundry. He's the chief financial officer and general counsel. Good to see you, Matt.
Thanks so much for having me.
You got it. All right. So we're talking about using AI for caregiving, and it's this new project called THRYVE Labs. And so let's get to the basis of this first. Talk about the felt need. Both of you guys weigh in on, okay, we got this issue, we got this problem, we got this challenge that we want to solve. Or is it, hey, we're doing this thing, but maybe there's a better way to build a mousetrap, and it might be using AI. How does the conversation start, I guess?
Well, the conversation, you got to back up a few steps. So I'm with a group called Carnegie Foundry. We're what's called a venture studio. So we're in a very fortunate position. We take the very best of AI and robotics from Carnegie Mellon University, a group there called the National Robotics Engineering Center. So it's an applied development arm of the university. They've got about 150 engineers. These are hands-on people. They are building things for the DoD industry, really cutting-edge stuff. No teaching professors, no white papers, no students. This is hands-on development.
Wow.
But we're in the spot at Carnegie Foundry to take the very best of that and think, how do we get this to market? How do we commercialize this? How do we find applications for it? And it's funny, the people that I work with have been at this so long that they call it machine learning. But now it's AI. That's the buzzword. But we were able to take that and some really fundamental tech and think, what's the application here? What can we do with this? And fortunately, because of a relationship with Bob and B&I, we found a really good first use case as we try to take some of this fundamental tech to market.
All right. So again, from your side at the Barber National Institute, again, you're working with these folks, literally hundreds of folks that need care. And what is the objective that you're trying to achieve?
Sure. Well, yeah. So I'll tell you how the Barber National Institute kind of fits into this scheme and why we're so excited about this partnership. Always sort of as a philosophy at the Barber National Institute, and it was Dr. Barber who really drove this philosophy when she was the CEO over at the Barber National Institute. We want to be on the cutting edge of technology within our industry. One of the things that it's happening around us is the ubiquity of AI and AI technologies. It's being inserted in all kinds of different places. Hospital systems are using it. Financial systems are using it. And so certainly we were interested in looking at how can we leverage AI technology to help the individuals that we currently serve and individuals that we will serve in the future to gain the greatest amount of independence, to be able to age gracefully in place. And then the other piece of this, which I think is really cool, is that I see this technology as sort of a supplement to help those direct support professionals who are working within our group homes and in people's private homes to better serve the people that they're serving. And so sort of how we got involved is Matt and I met for lunch. There was no game plan for the lunch. We just are friends and wanted to have lunch. And he started telling me about this technology that they were building to help older Americans age in their homes. And I thought, as he began to describe the technology, I thought, well, Matt, this has a perfect application to the ID and autism community, because not only are we an aging population, but we're always looking for ways to increase the individual's independence. And so I think that this is a tremendous opportunity for us to be at the forefront to innovate within the space. There's not anything out there that we're aware of that's being used in the ID and autism space that is similar to this. And so, yeah, it's just a very exciting opportunity, and we're excited to be a part of it.
We're talking, when you talk about like Carnegie Foundry and your mission of using AI and the robotics and the sensors, do all of those come to play in this THRYVE Labs function right now, or are you kind of starting with like the AI and the kind of analysis piece of this, the data piece?
Sure. So THRYVE Labs is a group that the Venture Studio started. And
Okay.
what we did is we took this fundamental tech, and it's a series of sensors. I don't want to call them cameras, but its ability to accumulate data within a defined space. So there's no pictures of individuals being taken or anything like that. It's literally all math. So there's an analysis done within a room or within a home, and it looks at the individuals in the home, and it can identify who they are and really sort of develop what are their daily patterns, right? What's their activity? What's their life like? And it creates its own AI LLM model for a home. But what
does that mean?
Think of it like a ChatGPT for the home.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
It's not a ChatGPT skin, it's its actual model. But what it does is it says, hey, let's take a look. What did Dad do today? How was his day? Did he take his medication? Is his gait changing? Did he actually drink a glass of water today? Did he have a good day or a bad day?
Has he gotten up and moved around the house?
Has he gotten up? Has he moved around the house? All of those things it can do. And it's a very user-friendly template that we developed that you're able to utilize as either a loved one or a caregiver. And the idea is to really give people peace of mind within the home.
So I'm just, again, this is fascinating. So when you come in with the sensors, you say, okay, this is the home. Here's where the pill box is. Here is where the refrigerator or the sink is to get the water, right? Here's where the couch is and the TV. And you're kind of creating baselines of, okay, here's Dad on a normal day, right?
Sure.
And then once you get it going, you're monitoring deviancy from the norm, kind of like a...
Yeah, that's exactly it. So
yeah.
once a baseline is established, now the tech's smart enough that it can recognize what the devices are, so you don't have to say, hey, this is his pill box or this is his refrigerator, right?
Do you have to actually like put little sensors or anything on that?
It's able to process the data that it takes in.
Remember when Amazon used to give you like a scale to automatically order the dog food when the dog food got down to 2 pounds,
It's a crazy thing. So I began my career in New York, and the first big transaction I got to work on was something for the New Jersey Medical Device Company, and it was the fall and I can't get up people.
Oh,
right?
seriously? Yes.
This has come so far from that.
Yes.
But it's absolutely instrumental. But if you look at it and you look at the data, and this is part of how we decided this was one of the things we wanted to take to market, was there are something like 10,000 people a day who are turning age 65, right? And the need, you just look at the tables, the need for something like this. There aren't enough caregivers in society to be able to meet the need and the demand. So the hope is that this can help ease some of that burden or make the job easier for the people that are actually doing it. And that's the goal as we take this.
Well, there's again, we'll talk about the BNI application here in a second, but there's so many people in those sandwich generations, right, where they're taking care of their elderly parents, yet they're raising their kids. And, all that they're doing right now is they put a couple of Ring cameras up around the house just to make sure things are moving around, right?
Well, and I think that you hit the nail on the head. And, one of those things is with that sandwich generation is that they're geographically dispersed. And so people have traditionally maybe stayed where they grew up. I mean, you're not seeing that anymore. So mom and dad live in Erie. I'm working in Chicago. How do I keep communication to make sure that mom and dad are actually okay?
Wow. And this can do this at a very granular data level to the point of, did they take their meds? Or did they have their breakfast?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
But it's designed to do two things. One, it does it in a very non-intrusive way. And that, I think, is essential to this in a way that's privacy preserving. So there's going to be, no one's going to end up on America's Funniest Home Videos, right? It's literally math. And when you peer behind the curtain, it is taking a look at, everyone's essentially a stick figure, and you're taking a look at joints and and their movements and vectors and things along those lines. So that's really fundamental to think about it. But the other thing is that it's so easy to use. What we're developing is essentially an app, right now that anyone can use. You can speak to it in any language, and it will give you whatever data you want. So the power of this is just phenomenal as we look at it, and just thrilled to be working with BNI here in one of the first use cases.
All right, so Bob, what extent has this been deployed yet to your Barber folks?
Still very early
Yeah.
in the process, and so we are in the early stages of kind of teaching the technology how to be a direct support professional, and so feeding it information about what are the things that I should be seeing as the AI tech from a direct support professional, and then as it learns those things, deviations from those will be pointed out, right, and reminders will be given. And I see this as in the very early stages, just a great supplement to those direct support professionals. You know, one of the things that is a challenge is you have 3 shifts a day. You have first, second, and third shift. Well, in those turnovers, things can get chaotic in a turnover, right? I mean, people are being transported to and from whatever they were doing during the day, whether they were at their supported employment job or their day program, coming back to the house. People are going to doctor's appointments, going home to see mom and dad, whatever could be going on. And so I look at this technology really as a great tool to be able to just type into the tool, say, how was Bobby's day so far today? Well, Bobby's done X, Y, Z. Bobby's had his meds, he brushed his teeth, he showered, got dressed. You know, he did all the things that he's supposed to do, no behaviors, everything's great. Or it'll tell you, Bobby's had a few behaviors today, he's upset about X, Y, Z. And this is all being information that's being driven by the AI technology.
Are we to the point where we can tell if someone is having a rough day by how they sound?
It's not recording audio; it's more aggressive behavior. So what it would take at it,
like
there was,
arms moving or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that,
but even with that, the beauty of this is that it's individualized. So if that behavior is someone stemming or something like that, if that's a coping mechanism for them, it'll know that over time. But it's deviations from the norm that it's going to pick out. So if an individual doesn't have that type of activity, but then they do on a certain day, hey, something's going on. We got to look at this. Maybe there's a big frustration in their life. So it's a very customizable tool, and it's something that we can launch anywhere. We've got national investors for this. There's been capital put into it. And we're doing it right here in Erie, which is great because it could be anywhere in the country.
Yeah, I see that the application is so broad. I mean, the whole of America could use this, but specifically in my industry, I think that it could really be the linchpin in caregiving and quality care.
How many adults are considered intellectually disabled or autistic? Because that's what we're really talking about, is trying to give independence to adults, right? We probably first and foremost, I would think. Are we in nationwide, are we talking a couple million people?
Yeah, I think you're probably talking into the millions. Absolutely.
So, I mean, this could be as common as Amazon Echo. I mean, it's in some regard, right? I mean,
sure. So the use case is not limited to what the good work that they're doing.
Right,
at
I
BNI.
Understand.
But you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Certainly. I mean, I have an Alexa in my house. I'm sure I just sent off Alexas all over Erie County. But we have a device like that, and it's a very sophisticated device. These are things that people are comfortable with now, and they see the utility of them, such as, like you said, Ring cameras.
Yeah. I mean, it's really kind of the putting together all of these technologies that have been kind of coming up over the last 10 years, haven't they?
Yeah.
Voice recognition and so on. All right, we're going to take our first break. This is amazing stuff. THRYVE Labs, the story behind privacy first AI for caregiving. And we'll be back with our friends from the Barber National Institute and the Carnegie Foundry after this. Bob Barber and Matt Wachter are with us here. We're talking about this use of AI to, to bring care. And I love how you call it privacy first. Can you explain why that's such an important value in the development of all this?
Well, certainly, because I'd never let anyone put a camera in my house and watch me all day.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
So this is really, really critical of the way that it's designed and the way that data is processed. And that's really been taken into account here. And that's at the forefront of all of this. It's done in a privacy-preserving way. What we're looking at is mathematical vectors. It's all being analyzed in the cloud by AI. There is no human looking at a video. We don't even store video, let alone. So that's really critical to the understanding of this. It is a lot less intrusive than the things that are actually on the market today.
Wow.
And that, I think, is critical, because we wouldn't be involved with this otherwise.
And the output is text, right? And so to Matt's point, I'm not sitting and watching the video. I'm letting the technology through the written word tell me what's going on in the scene, right? And so I think that's crucial.
All right, so I mean, you guys have tested this out. What does that look like? Okay, let's say I'm one of your folks at BNI, and I'm going and I slip in the bathroom. I'm getting out of the shower. Heck, that happens to almost everybody, right? I slip, and you know what? Maybe I get a bruise or whatever. Does it notice that I fell, or that I didn't come out of the bathroom fast enough, or how does that work?
Well, I think this is all under development.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But this is one of the best use cases of it. And
Okay.
I think Bob can speak to it too from BNI's perspective.
Yeah.
But this is the sort of thing, and it's a problem out there that we're trying to address. Did they fall? Did they hit their head? All of those different things. Do they live alone and they fell, and then an alert can go out to a loved one? But Bob can certainly speak to it from his perspective.
Yeah, I
as
think
well.
that we're probably looking at a couple potentials there. I think an alert would be incredibly useful that an individual has fallen. But on the back end, should you find somebody who's on the floor, then being able to go to the technology and say, okay, tell me about this event, right? And so...
Oh, so the human after the fact is saying, okay, what happened here?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Did they slip on the banana peel like in a
Yes,
cartoon?
right.
Or did they fall on their butt, or did they crack their head?
That's right.
really important
Unreal.
stuff.
Yeah. And again, being able to have that data to give to the professional at the hospital or whatever, and for all of the purposes that you have to have,
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, there's a lot of regulatory requirements
Mm-hmm.
around everything that we do, and so there's a lot of reporting that needs to be done, and those reports are done through a series of investigations, and so there's a lot of man hours and legwork that goes into any sort of benign sort of incident, and so this is a potential technology that's going to be not only useful, but maybe a cost savings to the ID industry overall.
And from outside of that perspective, so originally this tool, and it is very much at the heart of it, is how do we help people age in place, live in their homes longer, stay in their homes longer, as long as possible? How do you give peace of mind to loved ones who might not live in Erie anymore? Like in the example Bob said, their parents are here, but they might live in Chicago, for example. How do you do that? Well, one of the biggest fears is that someone falls in their own home and no one's there to check on them, right? Yeah. So that's it's low-hanging fruit as far as the technology goes, but the application is really spot on. And at the end of the day, I think a lot of people just want to be able to say, hey, did mom and dad have a good day today? Yes, no. If they get a thumbs up, fantastic. If they don't, well, then they can dive into the details a little bit and say, they didn't wake up at 8 a.m. like they usually do. They got up at 4 in the morning, or they slept in, or spent all day on the couch, maybe not feeling well, things like that, or didn't take their meds, or didn't eat 3 meals, never left the house, all those different things. And that's just a great use of this. The goal is to be able to provide peace of mind.
Yeah, you can imagine of driving home on your commute in Chicago, and whatever is the voice gives you the day's report on your parents back in Erie. Amazing stuff. I'm interested in, when you guys had the fundamental technology at Carnegie Foundation, how did you make that jump to say, you know what, this could be really used well in caregiving, because probably you had a lot of different avenues to go to with this type of. It's basically a recognition of patterns and deviations from a pattern, right? Isn't that kind of the fundamental?
Well, luckily I work with some people that are way smarter than I am.
Yeah.
And so that's fantastic. But
Right.
what we do is first we take a look at, okay, there's some fundamental tech here. What are the different business cases for it? What are the applications of it? And you actually nailed it when we first started, and you talked about that sandwich generation. And a few of the people that I work with are in that and living it right now. And they thought, wow, this is a tool that I would buy. This is a tool that we could really use. It didn't come up within the group home setting and the application there until Bob and I had lunch one day.
Fantastic.
And I explained to him this fundamental tech that we were working on and how excited we were about it to be able to bring it into this. It's called age tech, and helping people live and thrive in their own homes longer instead of having to go to St. Mary's or something along those lines. And this, so the broad application of this is really exciting. Now it's early, and this is, as far as tech goes, this is generative AI. This is actually cutting edge stuff that they're doing and we're trying to develop here. This isn't like a high school kid who's running something off ChatGPT. This is really sort of, this is machine learning, it's AI. This is cutting edge technology. We have quite a team that's working on it. And again, we're deploying it right here in Erie.
Unreal. We've got to take I got like a minute left. My mind is kind of just going on, other use cases like, are the kids on the bus doing okay, or, I mean.
That's right. I think about classroom use. I think about, all the areas where you just don't know what's going on. This can help to give you the information while protecting everybody's privacy.
It makes you wonder if they'll come up with some kind of a smell sensor when how do dogs recognize when somebody's in a?
No one's gonna tell you mom's spaghetti sauce is off.
There
or
you
anything,
go.
but
Right. Well, but like dogs can tell you when you're going into diabetic shock.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's, that stuff is probably in the future.
Absolutely.
Here.
Well, and when it's ready to be deployed, we're going to be on top of it.
Think about it.
Well, honestly,
Yeah.
we're I think this is important. I think it's important for Erie to be at the forefront of innovation, and so this is a tremendous project that we're working on, and we're infants at this right now. Let's just wait until this thing grows up.
We'll have more about this AI future that is now coming up after the news break. A lot of talk about AI, and how about using it to bolster our quality of life for seniors, those with intellectual disabilities, autism, and scores of other folks here. We're talking to Bob Barber. He is a senior vice president at the Barber National Institute. We've got Matt Wachter. He is the chief financial officer, general counsel with the Carnegie Foundry, excuse me. That would be something else if you headed up the foundation, wouldn't it? That's kind of a big deal. Carnegie Foundation.
Yeah, that might be a bigger
deal. Like
if they're hiring, I mean, no offense to my guys, but yeah.
Factor of 10 maybe, you know, on
maybe
budgets.
100. Yeah.
100? Carnegie Foundation. They basically, Anyway, Ken Burns, right? All right, we're talking about this AI and THRYVE Labs, and this is interesting about this partnership here. The idea that you found at the Carnegie Foundry that the caregiving crisis was a perfect fit for AI, and that the Barber National Institute an ideal partner. But you guys didn't stop at just kind of, hey, we'll be a start of this. Y'all have invested in this technology, yeah.
We have, yeah. So we're officially partners with our financial investment into the technology, and I think that gives Erie a piece of the pie in this whole AI game, specifically with this tech, and then it helps us to shape sort of the way that this is going to look going forward, to make sure that the application certainly works for aging Americans, but also works for ID and autism populations as well.
Talk about what the reality is. Maybe people, the average listener may not understand the staff challenge that folks that are in your line of work face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, there's just a dearth of individuals who find direct care to be their chosen career path. And, we've certainly seen an easing of our staffing crisis since the COVID days, but we're not perfect yet. I think you had said earlier there are at least 100 open direct care positions out on job websites just in Erie County, and so you extrapolate that across the entire population of the country, and you're talking about a whole lot of openings and a whole lot of need for additional help and support. And so, the direct care workers are asked to do a lot. They're asked to pass medications. They're asked to, if you're in a house with diabetics, you're asked to do insulin injections, peg tube replacements, all sorts of sort of quasi-medical procedures. And within all of that, we're also asking you to sort of track all the activity that's happening all day, every day, produce a billing note that is objective and billable and accepted by the payers, to remain in compliance at all times, and to know exactly what's going on with every individual for which you're assigned to. It's a lot. And so I'm looking for ways to help to ease some of the burden of direct care staff, whether they're in the ID field or working with just aging Americans. How do we help that group to take some of the burden off of them and to make them more efficient and provide a higher quality of care?
Put your headphones, guys, on. We're going to grab a phone call here. Hi, you're live with our guests here on Talk Erie. Go ahead.
All right, so I've been hearing most of the program. I was at work, so I'm building my masterpieces for the world to enjoy, but I heard most of it. It's interesting, Joel. As you know, my mother-in-law at the end of her life, it's 4 intensive months at a local, whatever you want to call it. We used to call it retirement home, elderly care center, whatever. And it is a real education. I don't know if you've ever had to go through that system, that they are stressed out, that they are having trouble with staff, that the constant care trying to monitor my mother-in-law at 90. Did she eat this morning? I mean, this whole thing is fascinating. It's really exciting, actually. But I did have another separate question, I guess, for your guests, as far as AI goes. I'm assuming since you're so immersed in this world, more than most of us are so far, What's your opinion on certain degrees, certain professions? I mean, I'm hearing things about some, like even the law firms are being affected by AI now. I mean, whole businesses being maybe not wiped out, but certainly curtailed by this influx of information. And I'll leave you with this. My son is he's 39. He works for a Fortune 500 company. He was going to go back and get his MBA, and he's not sure he's going to do it now. He's really immersed himself instead in AI, and he can get statistics out to his bosses at such record-paced time because he's so good at it. He's up for promotion.
Yeah. Because no need to go back to school if he's going to get that.
Well, he's not saying that yet. Yeah. But he's starting to wonder if those 3 letters MBA are even worth now what they were worth 5 years ago. I'll hang up, and I know that's a little off topic, but I'm just curious.
Let's let Matt weigh in on this. Matt, you are general counsel. You're a lawyer. I mean, talk about this impact. I'm sure you guys have those conversations at Carnegie.
Oh my gosh, every day. And I think you're spot on. So with 2 things. One, I'll talk to your first point about being in a senior living facility, because I think it resonates with what Bob was talking about. Let me get to the second one first.
Yeah.
So I have a law degree, right? I'm an attorney. I also have a master's in tax law. Guess what I would not get right now? A master's in tax law. Because I spent a year reading the tax code, reading the regulations, reading every type of private letter ruling there was. You were never going to know all the answers. You just had to know where to look. That just got a lot easier. So I would be really strategic about what you're looking at now. And you're right. There's going to be lots of efficiencies, but there's going to be repercussions from this. One of the things you have to do, though, is think about it smartly. And that's what we're trying to do. And we think this is a great application, because what your caller brought up about applications within senior living facilities, and what Bob brought up, these people want to provide care to people. They don't want to fill out forms. They don't want to do the paperwork. So what we're looking at now with THRYVE is, okay, how can this tool help aid that? Help people at the end of the day actually automate the reports that they need, and instead of spending an hour at the end of their shift filling out paperwork, can we do this so they can then have more hands-on time with the people that they care for?
And just to be like, real here, if you're in a senior living situation and you need like a lot of care, there's already sensors in your room. You have the pull string for the call box or the call button. You have a sensor on your bed. You're not allowed to go to the bathroom without support, right? So if you get up, what does it do? It buzzes and calls the nurses station. There's already monitoring going on in these rooms. I'm sure there's cameras at many of these rooms, right? I mean,
this is a way to do this much more intelligently, much more efficiently, and I hope ultimately provide much better care for the people who need it.
Bob.
I did just want to comment on the kind of broader question about how AI is going to impact different industries going forward. When you talk about law firms or accounting firms or
radio
or radio, I think Matt was right. So the level of education and maybe where you're looking to be educated is probably going to change because of this, but the technology is not going to do everything itself, and it's going to be those people who are able to leverage this technology the best that are going to be the superstars in whatever industry that they're in.
Mm-hmm. So let's take your caller's son, for example, right?
Yeah.
This isn't something to be afraid of. This is something to learn how to utilize.
That's right.
Think about all of the opportunities that are going to be created. People are now able to do coding that they could never do on their own. People are able to develop things that they could never develop on our own. The insights that people are able to gain. I mean, the application of knowledge. I think it goes down to, okay, does someone have a strong base, a good foundation, and be able to use these tools as opposed to being overly reliant upon them? That is critical, and there's going to be it's going to be messy, I'm certain. But if this is done correctly at sort of the macro level, I think it could lead to something really promising.
It's interesting because right now the conversation about AI is, who can make the better prompt in Chat GPT, right? Can you be a superstar in creating prompts? Well, even that's going away because the AI can make its own prompts. It could tell you, hey, here's what I want you to ask me, and then I can ask myself, so what do you need me for, right? But I think the real hopeful thing is apps like this, are applications like this where we're able to use whether it's sensors or input points to make decision making so that we're advancing a strategy or a function. And that's what this seems to do,
And we hope so. And we identified a really critical need for everyone. Everyone deals with this in their life. And like your caller just said, I'm thrilled that he called. This is a tool we hope that could have given him a little more peace of mind when he was dealing with that challenging situation. From the institution's perspective as well, we hope that it would allow it for their individuals to operate more efficiently and actually give the hands-on care that they need to, as opposed to simply typing up reports.
That's right.
Bob, you don't really anticipate like less people being on the job.
I don't. No, I really see this more as a supplement, right? It's creating the technology and then allowing those direct support professionals, those direct care workers, to leverage that technology to do their jobs more efficiently, have a higher quality of care, and have more fun with what they're doing, right? Let the computers figure out the more complicated, mundane tasks, and then we can get on with the larger daily living responsibilities.
Do you think that things like like taking your temperature, taking your blood sugar, and all that stuff will eventually kind of be able to interface with a data gathering deal like this? You think?
It certainly could. Not the area that we're going in right now, but in the future, there's no reason why it couldn't.
Kind of like middleware or something.
There already are.
I just say that word. I don't know what it means.
But I mean, there's already some amazing tech out there. I mean, there's wearable devices, things along those. Just look at what your Apple Watch can track. There's different rings that you can get that are smart. There's some pretty cutting edge tech, even just available to the consumer.
Let's hit some of this. Some of the fears that might be out there. So, the technology. You're saying that all data stays local. What does that mean?
That means that it is essentially processed in-house. So it's not being.
So do you have a server somewhere?
It uses the AWS cloud right now. There's other techniques that could be done, but there's a lot of edge processing that's done. But it's not being taken somewhere that could be hacked, or there's no video that's being stored, anything along those lines. It's done in a way where everyone is. We're not tracking people by their individual name along those lines. It's all done in a way that is everyone's identity is respected.
It says here that it has multi-purpose person recognition, so it could tell from Matt and Bob and Cheney and.
Sure. So it could tell that I'm Matt and that you're Joel and that this is Bob and then Cheney. Absolutely. And it can do that within a single environment. So it could also say, hey, there's a new guy in the facility, which also has a lot of ramifications.
Oh, my. Always on awareness without invasive cameras or burdensome wearables. So.
Exactly. So, I was laughing about the I've fallen, I can't get up example. Yeah. Well, guess what? You have to be wearing that. Mm-hmm. And how many times have loved ones fallen in a home and they weren't wearing that device or didn't know how to use it? Right? It happens all the time. There was an example one of my colleagues gave of a loved one that they had who fell in their home and passed. And they had one of those devices, and she refused to wear it because old people wear it. Well, she was 97 years old. Oh my gosh. Here's the thing, and that was really one of the examples that we had that justified pursuing this and investing in it and trying to develop it. Because look, if they would have gotten an alert that woman had fallen in her home, they could have gotten there, and they would have gotten there right away or sent a neighbor.
All right, isn't this just Big Brother surveillance?
No, this is not Big Brother surveillance. I mean, to Matt's point, we're not storing any video information. There's no way that you're going to end up on America's Funniest Home Videos. There's not somebody sitting watching a streamed video. And so it's not Big Brother. It's what it is. It's information gathering that is transmitted on demand.
And there's something to be said about B&I making the investment. There's a lot of values behind the Gertrude Barber story and the brand, and so that's an imprimatur, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not something we take lightly.
Yeah. Will this replace human caregivers? Like you said, nobody's losing their job.
No, I don't think that this replaces human caregivers. maybe in the next 50 years, when I'm 90 years old, we may have gotten to a point where there's AI robots and things like that. But no, in the very near term, this is not going to replace direct care workers.
I hope that it can actually lead to more people getting the type of care that they need. So maybe people can work a little more efficiently and take care of more individuals. Because one of the things that I've learned throughout this process is how many people are actually in need of this type of care, and there just simply aren't enough people to do it.
And it might make the job more attractive. I mean, something Matt said earlier, a lot of individuals are drawn to this type of work because they have a heart for it. But then you get into it, and there's all sorts of note-taking and monitoring and all kinds of things that aren't very much fun. And so how do we move the fun things off, push it off to the AI technology, and then we can get on with the fun parts of caregiving?
Yeah. Privacy in someone's home. Talk about that again. I mean, basically that the families can choose their comfort level with this. Element,
sure.
Right?
So there's all it's AI, right? So it's actually easy to give commands and prompts and what you want it to look at and what you don't want it to look at. And also it's the goal is for it just to be streamlined, right? Mm-hmm. So in many ways it's looking for patterns over time. Are people, look at their gait, for example, right? Are they walking in a smooth manner? Well, maybe they are now limping, okay? Or they're having trouble getting around their home. It's going to then identify that and then send an alert. Hey, you should probably get to the doctor. Or someone might have to start using a cane. Or they're not using their cane and they're not using the walker. Things like that over time. It's really just looking at, it's a lot of pattern recognition and then building up a database, right? Or a data set of what are the typical activities that are occurring and is there deviation from that.
And the idea of this peace of mind for families that, again, that example of the parents are in Erie, you're working in Chicago,
I think that's invaluable. And that's ultimately the goal of this, is to be able to give people peace of mind. And then ultimately, if issues arise, alert them so they can be addressed.
How can folks find out about this? And again, I mean, this is THRYVE Labs is happening here, and so they might want to learn more about it.
Sure. Check out the website, thrivelabs.ai.
It's THRYVE labs.ai.
And the goal is that we'll be in market in about a year.
Okay. So right now we're still in a ramp up phase.
Yeah,
exactly.
So we're going to ramp up, and then we're going to pilot at the Barber National Institute, make sure that the technology works, that there's usefulness to it, and then it'll be ready.
I could see you guys in a booth somewhere, like in a convention center in New Orleans, talking AI, right?
Well, one of the interesting things about this is that this is called Age Tech, and it's being developed out of Pittsburgh and Erie, and I think that's no secret because Pennsylvania has one of the second oldest population out of any state in the United States, and it's one of the fastest growing segments of our population. And also, guess what? They're not interested in doing it in Silicon Valley. So we spend a lot of our time talking to venture capital funds and working with investors and developers on either of the coasts, right? So typically like Boston or in the Valley or in Silicon Valley. They're doing dating apps and things that are going to be they don't care about this. They're 23-year-old kids out of Stanford. The people that I work with, they're actually in that sandwich generation. They see the utility of this, and they see how this could help people, both themselves and their loved ones. So we're thrilled to do it, and it's coming right out of the Rust Belt.
That's amazing. Matthew Wachter from the Carnegie Foundry, Bob Barber from the Barber National Institute. Gentlemen, thanks for bringing this to our attention. You know what's so funny about this? We've always talked about what are the AI protected jobs. We kind of thought that personal care was going to be one of them. It still sounds like you can get those jobs, but you might have a lot more tools.
Yes,
it's a more complicated than it's binary, right? I mean, it's not a binary situation here.
Yeah,
that's
pretty
correct.
exciting.
Yeah, we're excited about it. We're thrilled to be able to launch this here in Erie, and very, very fortunate to be working with the Barber National Institute.
Thank you, Matt and Bob. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank you.
All righty, it's 4:54 on Talk Erie.